Claire Rhodes from Producer Direct. Claire is CEO and founder of Producer Direct, and Producer Direct is an organization based in UK and that focuses on the design of farmer-led solution to challenges faced by small farmers, especially in different parts of the world.
So it's a pleasure to be here today, and thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Claire Rhodes, and I'm the CEO of Producers Direct. And today I'd like to share with you 5 lessons that we've learned on financing innovation with smallholder farmers. But first, I'd like to just briefly introduce you to Producers Direct. So Producers Direct offers a really unique model. We develop and deliver farmer-led services both in person and digitally, with the ultimate aim of improving farmer livelihoods through income improvement and enhanced resilience. So in total, we work with an international network of over 1 million smallholders across East Africa and Latin America. And essentially, we have a 4-part model that addresses 4 key components that are collectively designed to enhance farmer income, spanning farmer-led training, access to data services, access to peer-to-peer finances to support investment and innovation, and access to markets, which I'll talk about more in a minute as a critical aspect of driving innovation. So to go on now to the 5 lessons that we've learned on financing farmer-led innovations. So firstly, I really want to emphasize that when investing in smallholder-led approaches to on-farm experimentation and innovation, it's really important to design from the foundation of farmers' reality, knowledge, and experience. It's really easy when conceptualizing an idea when we're all sitting in the office to underestimate the challenging context within which the smallholders that you're designing on-farm experimentation for are actually operating. And therefore, also, often what happens is that we underestimate the ask we might be expecting, particularly for smallholder farmers living in high levels of rural poverty, to actually engage with this experimentation and trial and adopt a new practice or technology. And let's just remind ourselves of the context in which many of the world's 1 billion smallholder farmers operate across both Africa and Latin America. Essentially, it's really important to remember that 4 billion people are still not connected to the internet. And there's also a considerable usage gap. So even for 3.4 billion people who are living in areas that are covered by mobile networks, they're still not using mobile internet. And across our network with Producers Direct, typically we see that farmers trust SMS services still much more than smartphone technology. So when we're thinking about agri-tech as an opportunity to support on-farm experimentation, it's really important to remember the context and the constraints within which the smallholders are operating and are expected to actually be engaging with on-farm experimentation. We're going to talk quite a lot about data management systems, but actually this is a typical data management system for a smallholder farmer. Data to support on-farm management or to actually evaluate the success of a new practice is often very low when you're looking at kind of working with small-scale farmers and the data that they're using to manage their on-farm practices currently. Let's just remember that smallholders face significant, numerous challenges on a daily basis and often face these risks without any access to external data. And so smallholders' potential to benefit from precision agriculture can often be lost if they're not supported to access or utilize the data insights themselves. Their access to finance often remains extremely low, and this is particularly the case for women smallholder farmers across Africa and Latin America particularly. And this financial risk remains a really key barrier to innovation and experimentation. If a farmer is unclear whether or not trialling a new practice is going to actually bring them any additional economic benefit, why would they take the risk without having the financial cushion in place that allows them to innovate and experiment? So the question we need to ask ourselves, how can investment support farmers to minimize this risk and to actually feel comfortable to experiment? So my next point, number 2, trust farmers to lead in the design of on-farm experimentation and also the actual services designed to support them, as well as in the delivery of them. If you're designing a solution intended to benefit smallholders, always involve them from the onset. At times, this can feel really difficult and time-consuming, especially if you're going back and forth on multiple interactions of ideas to test. but it's always worth it in the end. So with Producers Direct, we put farmer-led design at the heart of our model and really believe that sustained investment in farmer-led design and co-development of solutions is critical for the solutions to ultimately be sustainable and scale successfully. These are just a few examples of where we found farmer-led design has been critical to ensuring that the tool we're designing or the interface that is actually clear to smallholder farmers and easily actionable by them. So you'll see the example on the left. This is our work with IDEO.org and Mercy Corps on materials to support smallholder farmers adapt to COVID. And as part of the design process, we established farmer design groups to test the clarity of the messaging and the visual images that were being used. And then the example on the right is work that we're undertaking on our farmer-led data management system. And we're working with small-scale farmers to design data management tools that can be used as paper-based or digital systems. A key lesson learned here was the way that data is played back to farmers. And that's really critical. What might seem like a clear graph or visualization to one person isn't necessarily the same for another. The farmer-led innovation that we're most proud of so far with Producers Direct is WeFarm, a farmer-to-farmer knowledge sharing platform. We started with the ambition for WeFarm to be an internet-based solution, enabling farmers to share knowledge. But we really quickly realized that it was absolutely not going to work if it only remained internet-based. And so we switched the design of WeFarm to use on a simple non-smart mobile phone. So Agnes was talking about prototyping and iteration, and this is one example. And so now WeFarm is mainly SMS-based because that's what farmers are most comfortable with. And this was pivotal in the ultimate design and scaling of WeFarm, which I'm pleased to say has now scaled to reach over 2 million farmers in East Africa. And so it's a really great example of driving scalable farmer design solutions. Point 3, farmers respond differently to the same message depending on who delivers it. This is a quote from a JPAL 2018 study, but it's extremely consistent with our experiences. A farmer also needs to see the innovation demonstrated often by several peers before they actually decide to adopt it themselves. It's certainly true that peer knowledge sharing can enhance adoption, and this isn't a new concept. Farmer field schools have been well tried and tested. But the challenge for investment in OFE is to ensure that the investments in peer-to-peer training models can support the development of long-term solutions and are not just set up and then disbanded on a project-by-project basis when the funding ends. What's really critical for us is that investing in farmer leadership drives impact. At Producers Direct, we invest in a network of farmers and youth leaders across the communities we work, over 1,000 leaders so far in East Africa and Latin America. And these leaders are selected on the basis that they're already experimenting with their own ideas or demonstrating that they've successfully adopted practices. And we continue to invest in them to showcase their ideas and innovation. And so particularly what we're excited about is investing in youth leaders. And youth leaders can really play key roles in innovation and experimentation, especially in relation to digital ag tech and data services. They're really keen to try new ideas and innovate, and are perhaps less risk averse than more elderly generations of smallholders. And so really engaging youth leaders can really enable them to be pioneers of new agri-tech solutions, and also enable older generations of farmers to observe successful innovations before adopting them. So number 5, lastly, but definitely no least important, it's really critical that we're linking investment in innovation with short-term links to market access and income improvement opportunities. So really, one illustration of this is a 2018 study that was done by Mishler and al., who looked at the adoption rates of Ethiopian farmers on experimenting with new chickpea varieties. And the driver of the adoption was not yield, as they originally anticipated, but actually it was the varieties where the farmers could see that the market opportunities for them to take their new variety to market and gain a better price was very clear and easily achievable. And so what I would really say is that market access should be considered right from the start of designing any on-farm experimentation where we're looking to introduce new practices. And so in this respect, what we really feel should be a kind of key priority investment is bundled services to support farmers. We at Producers Direct, we're investing in bundled services that really enable farmers to connect with market opportunities. And we're seeing that this has the capacity to improve farmer incomes by up to 100% through this bundled layered approach. And so just finally, to say thank you so much for the opportunity today, summarizing 5 key lessons. It's really about designing for farmers' realities, knowledge and experience. Trust farmers to co-design with you. Invest in farmer leadership, especially for youth, and think about the market opportunities and income improvements right from the onset. Thank you so much.